Along the coastal region of Balkans and the former territory of Yugoslavia, we visited the ports of Croatia and Montenegro. Historic Dubrovnik is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has gorgeous buildings, museums, and galleries. They even filmed Game of Thrones at this location. I will also show you the coastal region of Montenegro and the secluded Bay of Kotor, with a well-preserved medieval town on the Adriatic coast. It is considered one of the best preserved medieval urban areas in the Mediterranean. We will also visit some overlooks and neighboring villages, as well as the beach. The coastal countries such as Croatia is a part of the Balkans. Other Balkan countries are Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Bulgaria, Kosovo, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Romania, Serbia, and Slovenia, as well as portions of Greece and Turkey. When we arrived to the port, we had an excursion. If you wish to explore on your own and walk to the old town, it's about 30 to 40 minutes walk, and it's easy to navigate. Or you can take a shuttle for $20 round trip downtown. The excursion that I took was Lapad Bay and Old Town exploration. The first part of the excursion was great, but the second part could have been longer. Make sure you bring a swimsuit or towel for a quick swim, because there will be a stop at the beach. It is also recommended to walk or take a bus to downtown, but never ever drive to the Old Town. One single lane road leads to the Old Town, and at its end is very expensive parking and highly unlikely to be available. So swap the drive for a stroll or a bus ride. Dubrovnik is very walkable, and the public bus network covers the city areas very well. Dubrovnik is a city in southern Dalmatia, Croatia, by the Adriatic Sea. It is one of the most prominent tourist destinations in the Mediterranean. Its total population is about 42,000 people. In 1979, the city of Dubrovnik was added to the UNESCO list of World Heritage Sites in recognition of its outstanding medieval architecture and fortified old town. The history of the city dates back to the 7th century, when the town known as Ragusa was founded by refugees. It was under the Byzantine Empire and later under the Republic of Venice. Between the 14th and 19th centuries, Dubrovnik ruled itself as a free state. The prosperity of the city was historically based on maritime trade, and it achieved a high level of development, as it became notable for its wealth and skilled diplomacy. In 1991, during the Croatian War of Independence, Dubrovnik was besieged by the Yugoslav People's Army for 7 months and suffered significant damage from shelling. After undergoing repair and restoration works in early 2000s, it reemerged as one of the Mediterranean top tourist destinations, as well as a popular filming location. Dubrovnik is the most over-touristed destination in Europe, with 36 tourists for each resident. Often called the Queen of Adriatic, Dubrovnik is considered one of the most popular destinations. Of all the things to do in Dubrovnik, the absolute must will be a walk around the medieval city walls. A complete 2 kilometers or 1.25-mile circuit reveals fantastic views over the old town, terracotta rooftops, and out to sea. Originally built in the 13th century, the walls protected the city. At night, the 2 entrances into the city were locked, and wooden drawbridges used to be locked at night to prevent intruders from entering. Here, the tap water is drinkable, and in the old town you can refill your bottle from the fountains, like the fountains that you see in front of you that have the coolest water around. Drinking coffee is a morning ritual in Dalmatia. This 300-meter-long, white limestone paved promenade, the main street through the old town, the 17th century Baroque stone buildings, host small shops and open-air cafes at street level. This is where locals meet for coffee, read the morning newspapers, and watch the world pass by. The entire old town is a pedestrian area. Public transport is not allowed here, and parking is expensive, so you'd better off not hiring a car until you're ready to leave the city. Until 1808, Dubrovnik was a tiny but sophisticated, self-governing republic called Ragusa. Each month, local councillors would choose a different citizen to assume the role of rector. This short-term appointment was intended to prevent any one person from becoming too powerful. During their term in office, rectors lived on the upper floor of the 15th century Gothic Renaissance rector's palace. Next to the palace is Dubrovnik's cathedral. In the Middle Ages, people believed in relics, body parts of long-deceased saints. Their human remains were considered sacred. They were covered in gold plating and decorated with different valuable jewels. The treasury next to Dubrovnik's cathedral displays 138 gold and silver relics. The centerpiece is the skull of Saint Blaise, Dubrovnik's patron saint, encased in a golden crown. Your support is very important to me, so if you enjoy this content and would like me to make more of it, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification button because I'm going to be making more videos, more vlogs about the cruising and my other international adventures. In the center of the old town, in one of the squares, they had a farmer's market with beautiful fruits and vegetables that you can purchase and try out, or you can stop at any cafes and have some lunch. You can pay for your food by card and tip by cash. Tipping is not mandatory, but it's always nice to leave something. In restaurants, it's recommended to leave 10%. Many times in these European countries, we were asked whether we're paying by cash or card. And if you say that you're paying by card, they would usually add 4 or 5% on top of it for the service fee. And it doesn't go to your waiter, it goes to the restaurant for the credit card fees. In Dubrovnik, they also filmed Game of Thrones. And right here on these steps was a walk of shame. Some visitors to the old town try to reenact that scene, and they get undressed and try to take pictures. Please don't try to do that. Respect the traditions, and if visiting churches, honor the sacred space by covering your shoulders and taking off your hat. We know that Dubrovnik is an ancient city, but here are a few interesting facts. It's claimed that the world's first commercial pharmacy opened in Dubrovnik in 1317. Attached to the monastery back in the day, it is still in existence today, but with rather more recognizable modern remedies. But it still stocks some creams and herbal teas with recipes faithful right back to the 1300s. Dubrovnik was the first country to banish slavery in 1416. This old town even has a medieval sewer system dating from 1296, which is still in use today. Besides visiting Dubrovnik, we also visited the nearby beach that was only a 10-minute drive from the town. We were given an hour to walk around and do some sightseeing, but to be honest with you, I should have brought a swimsuit and a towel so I could go swimming. The water was wonderful and crystal clear. The only issue was the pebbles. They were pretty sharp on your feet, so make sure to bring some water shoes in case you're going to go swimming. It looks like there are locals visiting the beach, but it also has a promenade here, so it has shops and restaurants. Although Dubrovnik is a small city, it offers great beaches and a stunning coastline, full of different beach options. It was a very hot day and I couldn't resist, so I went into the water to wet my feet. Although it was really refreshing, it was rather painful, so I definitely would recommend you to bring water shoes. And if you like what I'm wearing, like the visor hat, or the neck fan, or my dress, I'm going to leave the links in the description below, so you can check them out on Amazon and buy it for your next trip as well. The Balkans has had a turbulent history with several major wars raging throughout the region. However, it remains a remarkable travel destination for active travelers hungry for adventure and new experiences. With its charming multicultural towns, impressive monasteries, citadels on hillsides, gorgeous mountains, forests and lakes, hearty food and traditional folk music, with miles of coastline, beach lovers will feel right at home here as well. Kotor, historically known as Kotor, is a town in coastal region of Montenegro. It is located in a secluded part of the Bay of Kotor. We had to take tender boats in order to go on shore. The good part about this port is that once you get off the tender boat, the old town is only a 5-minute walk, so it's very easy to do it yourself and just go to the old town gate. You also have an option of hop-on, hop-off buses if you would like to do a tour on your own. You will probably need only 30 minutes to see the Old Town area and walk around. But if you wanted to see more and explore the area and drive up the mountains, then you should take a tour with NCL. The excursion that I took with Norwegian was Best of Kotor, Montenegro. It was a very interesting excursion because the bus took us by 25 turns up the mountain, and you would definitely need to bring motion sickness medication if you're sensitive. It was a nice drive. They gave us a sandwich for a snack. We saw some villages and beautiful views from above. And at the end, they gave us the tour of the Old Town, and we also had some free time to explore, get something to eat, or just walk back to the port for the tender boats. So let me show you our excursion and these beautiful views, as well as tell you some history and interesting facts about Montenegro. The name Kotor probably comes from the Greek word that means rocky, while Montenegro would mean black mountains. And the reason they call them black mountains because from the air, the mountains covered in the greens do look black. The views were spectacular, and you could see the whole Montenegro from above. One of the first things that set Kotor apart as a unique and magical destination is its distinctive geography. Nested beneath magnificent mountains, the town curves gently around the corner of Kotor Bay, perfectly situating itself between the peaks and the sea. Since the early 2000s, Kotor has seen an increase in tourists, many of them coming by cruise ship. Visitors are attracted to the natural environment of the Bay of Kotor and the Old Town of Kotor. The Old Town is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. Going up the mountain was absolutely nerve-wracking because the road is very narrow and there was no room for incoming cars. I probably would not even risk driving it myself. This epic 25 turns road is very popular among bicycles and tourists who would like to experience the thrill and see the beautiful scenery at the same time. Many bicyclists take the cable car up and then they drive down the mountain. In our case, we were on the bus and it was a lot larger than the cars or the bikes, and the turns were absolutely atrocious and scary. But the buses are allowed to go up the mountain in the mornings. So we were one of those tours. So if you don't like heights, this excursion might not be good for you. If you want to absorb the cultural diversity of the Kotor region, you might want to spend more days in Kotor itself. Day trips would be perfect for exploring. If you want to explore the beauties of the Adriatic Sea and locations such as the Blue Cave, the former prison on the island of Mamula, or the beautiful islands near Purst, then a half-day trip by speedboat is the best option. And less than 2 hours drive from Kotor is Dubrovnik. Kotor is surrounded by beautiful nature, and visitors seeking more active experience should visit the Durmitor National Park, about an hour-and-a-half drive away. The park offers activities such as rafting, hiking, and canoeing, providing nature lovers with unforgettable experiences. This breathtaking national park was formed by glaciers and is traversed by rivers and underground streams. Kotor has a long and rich history that spans over 2,000 years. The ancient city was founded in the 3rd century BC and was later conquered by the Romans, the Byzantines, the Venetians, and the Austro-Hungarians. After all of those 25 turns, we finally reached the top of the mountain, and the views were, of course, spectacular. We had some sandwiches with meat and enjoyed the views. Montenegro food is wholesome, organic, and perfectly simple. From prosciutto to black risotto, all kinds of cheeses, and even oysters. Dry-cured smoked ham or prosciutto is definitely a staple, and the locals enjoy the tasty snack with fresh bread or platters or Montenegro cheese, olives, grapes, and figs. And you should try it too. Montenegro food is generally divided into 3 regional styles: the mountains, the heartland, and the coast. As you get closer to the coast, fresh seafood begins to dominate the menu, and buzara is one of those must-try Montenegrin specialties you simply have to sample. This is a garlicky seafood dish, which is gently cooked in either red or white wine sauce. As we were driving through this picturesque farmland, there were signs for prosciutto and cheese everywhere. Did you know that Montenegro is famous for cheese production? While visiting different areas in Montenegro, the climate changes, and so do the landscapes. And along come different types of cheeses. Cheeses can be served at breakfast, but also as the first course for lunch and dinner. Privaliski, Kalasinski, young, old, leafy, hard, in oil, seasoned with herbs. There are so many choices. The cheeses are made from the milk of cows, sheep, and goats, and they're also known for their distinct flavors, textures, aromas, which are influenced by the unique environmental and climate conditions of each region. It is estimated that there are more than 50 cheese varieties in Montenegro. As we're driving back to the port and to the old town of Kotor, we're passing beautiful sights and the coastline with the beach. Emerging as a sovereign state in 2006, this young Balkan country is a member of NATO, and it is also an official candidate for European Union membership. The World Bank classifies Montenegro as one of the fastest-growing Balkan economies. The World Travel and Tourism Council has rated Montenegro to be one of the top 2 fastest-growing tourist economies over the next 10 years. The heart of Kotor is its old town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and one of the best-preserved medieval towns in Adriatic. You can wander through its narrow streets, admire its ancient architecture, and soak up the vibrant atmosphere of this charming town. It is a remarkable Venetian labyrinth of ancient walls filled with shops, cafes, and museums. Kotor's city walls are a testament to the city's rich history and culture. The walls were built in the 9th century and surrounded the old city. Built in 1602, the Kotor Clock Tower is one of the most recognizable landmarks, dominating Kotor's largest square. Its plain stonework matches the mountains behind it, and it is the first thing you see as you emerge from the sea gate entrance in the town walls. One of the most impressive landmarks in Kotor is St. Trifon's Cathedral, a beautiful Romanesque church that dates back to the 12th century. Inside you will find a treasure trove of religious art, including frescoes and mosaics. You can also visit St. Nicholas Church, located in the heart of Kotor's old city. The church is known for its stunning architecture and beautiful artwork. Kotor is a cultural and artistic center that hosts many festivals and events throughout the year. The city is famous for its traditional music and dance, its theater performances, and its art exhibitions. Kotor was almost destroyed by an earthquake in 1979. It was the strongest one for this area, and hundreds were killed. If you want to get a close-up view of some of the history that Kotor has to offer, the €8 it costs to walk the walls of the ancient Kotor fortress, and it is a very small price to pay. There are many wonderful hikes around the town, but the ladder of Kotor is probably the most rewarding. It starts as a pathway hidden behind an old power plant. As you climb, the path snakes its way back and forth up the mountain, offering a breathtaking view of the entire bay all the way to the top. Another hidden gem is the island of Our Lady of the Rocks, a man-made island with a vibrant history. It has a church with beautiful fresco paintings. You can take a boat ride to the island and indulge in its history and mesmerizing beauty. Kotor has a rich cultural heritage. Its history is a tale of battles and conquests. You can learn about the city's rich and complex history in the Maritime Museum. Housed in the 17th century Baroque palace located in one of the squares of the old town. It's hard not to notice, but this town has a lot of stray cats. Although they don't look really stray, they're being fed and they're well taken care of. According to the legend, they came on the ships with the sailors. The cats in this town is a symbol of good luck, and they even have their own cats museum. You can even buy cat souvenirs in the gift shops. When we arrived to Split, Croatia, there was a pier, and if you wanted to walk to downtown, it would be probably 20 to 30-minute walk. You definitely would need a transportation. And don't forget to bring your passport. After admiring all those beautiful coastlines, the beaches, and the crystal clear water, I definitely wanted to go swimming. so I got an excursion through Norwegian that was called Trogir and Beach Excursion. So first they took us to this Baroque and Renaissance-style old town connected to the mainland by the bridges, and then we spent about 2 hours at the beach. If you wanted to book your own excursion, you can also try hop-on, hop-off buses that are available right here at the port, and they will take you to Split downtown area. Split is the second largest city in Croatia. It boasts a rich cultural heritage dating back to Roman times, when the emperor built his grand palace here in the 4th century AD. Today, this UNESCO World Heritage Site forms the heart of the city, with its labyrinth-like streets, stunning architecture, and lively atmosphere. Our drive to Trogir was about 30 minutes, and this beautiful town is set within medieval walls on a tiny island, linked by bridges to both the mainland and to the far larger Siovo Island. On summer nights, everyone gravitates to the wide seaside promenade, lined with bars, cafes, and yachts. Trogir's history dates back to 380 BC and has been continuously inhabited by Greeks, Romans, Hungarians, and Venetians. A melting pot of culture, architecture, and heritage can be found in every corner of Old Town. In fact, Old Town was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997. This town even has newer parts of the city, with fabulous restaurants, well-stocked supermarkets, a fitness center, and easy access to spectacular beaches. After World War I, Trogir was part of the Kingdom of Serbs, Croats, and Slovens, which later became Yugoslavia, although it was occupied by Italy during World War II. In 1991, the town was part of Croatia when it declared its independence. Trogir's best site is the Cathedral of St. Lawrence, on which building work started in 1213, on a site where a previous cathedral once stood. The main part of the cathedral was completed in 1250. The cathedral's bell tower was built between the 14th and 16th century and can be climbed to see fantastic views from the top. A must-see within the cathedral is the Chapel of St. John, built in 1468, which is considered the best Renaissance site in Dalmatia. The Sipico palaces opposite the cathedral were home to the town's noble family in the 15th century. And right here on the same square is the famous landmark, the Clock Tower, that was part of the Church of St. Sebastian. Restoration projects undertaken in recent years have helped revive the numerous historic attractions, in particular Trogir's splendid Romanesque and Renaissance architecture, most of which is found within the 15th century city walls. And just a few steps down from this delightful tangle of medieval streets is a pleasant waterfront promenade. As you can see, people still live in these homes. National Geographic voted Trogir's Old Town the best city island in the world, so it is not a place you want to miss. When you're in Trogir, you can easily go without a list and wander about the streets. They're a treasure trove of surprises. You will find yourself walking along cobblestone paths, stumbling upon cool little courtyards, and maybe even catching locals having a chat. The Land Gate was the main entrance to Trogir during the 15th century and was a vital part of the Venetian defenses, along with the city walls, which were built at the same time. Rebuilt in the 17th century in late Renaissance style, the structure's tall doorway once housed a drawbridge. Along the waterfront are wide walkways. You will be able to walk directly to some of the top sites and attractions in Trogir, directly from the promenade. And at the tip of the island, you can go and visit Camerlengo Fortress that dates back to the early part of 15th century. It was built to defend the channel between the island and the mainland. With its beautiful views over the sea and high walls connecting its 3 towers, this splendid old castle has found new life as a venue for outdoor performances, held during the summer months in the courtyard. The Dalmatian coast is famous for its calm and blue water, which is perfect for swimming, and its pebble beaches. While there are no beaches in Trogir's city center, there are a number of beautiful places within a short walk or drive. We also visited a public beach, And from here in the distance, we could also see the old town of Trogir. They had shops and restaurants here, but you had to pay cash. We even rented 2 chairs and an umbrella for 25 euro. They had hotels here and public bathrooms. You could also rent a jet ski and do some water activities. And again, don't forget to bring your water shoes, because the pebbles are kind of painful if you try to swim. If you did forget it, you can probably buy it for 20 or 30 euro in the local shop, and you'll have to pay cash. Thank you so much for watching my video till the end. I really appreciate all of your support. The more comments and likes you leave under this video, the more viewers will be able to see this video. This is how our YouTube algorithm works. So even if you're watching it on the TV, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to my channel, especially if you're an avid traveler like myself and like to see the world or use my tips for planning your next trip. I love your suggestions that you leave in the comments for me, because then on my next cruise or my next trip, I will give you more details and more specifics that you're interested in. Happy cruising!